Right. Evening, everyone. I'm Professor McCoy. Welcome back. Welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance II. Mike again. Sorry about that. Hello, everybody. All right, let's get right back into things, shall we? All right. Hmm. All right. All right. So we are, if you recall, we're basically just waiting around until tomorrow for there to be this great big meeting. Did we wait until tomorrow? Or hold on. We did. It's tomorrow. We're waiting until today for this great big meeting. This war council, basically. Hey, Grace. I've been doing pretty well. So your apartment viewing went pretty well. Yeah. But yeah, it's been. I will say it's been a rather newsworthy week, I suppose. Volge. You gotta okay. I will just say you gotta love these sort of late medieval pole arms that are really quite complex. Like everybody loves the glaive, but quite frankly, it's the simplest out of all of the sort of standard medieval pole arms. Really, I mean, other than just a spear, I suppose, but like it's just a big knife on a stick. Meanwhile, you've got all these other ones that have these various different bits of neat optimization to them. The Volge, I'm not even really otherwise familiar with it, but it's basically a falchion head with that point up there, as well as a back spike, which you gotta have a back spike. If you're gonna have a pole arm and you're gonna have it be complex like this, you gotta have a back spike. I mean, you have to have that nice leverage, can opener leverage. Oh gosh, you finally got what you Ray's finally got what you ordered from Japan on the 3rd of December. Wow, yeah. I remember when you were talking about the shipping issues. Cannot believe that, but wow. Gisarm, I am on the other hand pretty familiar with, and it's more or less the most complicated head style that I'm familiar with because it has this back hook or either a hook or I guess in this case it's a spike. A lot of times, if I'm not mistaken, that'll either curve back or curve up. Because then you've got this sort of front-facing hook, and then also the stabbing spike. And this is for hooking and for slashing, or for well, this back part is more for that sort of can opener effect. The bardiche is nice and simple. I do like a good bardiche. It's what we often think of when we think of a glaive, because the blade comes down the haft a bit, which I really think adds a good bit of extra stability. And of course, your standard bill hook, which is basically just a fruit picker, reinforced a bit for warfare. Which is really where a lot of polearms come from. Anyway, gotta love this stuff.
May God give you health, sir. I'd like to learn a new combat technique.
Aber ja, warum nicht?
I don't actually need that.
I'd like to learn something.
What are you interested in?
I don't need heavy weapons, frankly. Alright, never mind.
Brave Kulka. Ganz brav.
You what? Ah, this is pointless.
Well, he can't hear anything.
You've got a lot to learn.
Excuse me.
Ooh.
I'd like to learn a new combat technique.
Certainly. I'm just about bored to death, so at least this'll make the time pass faster. If you're a good lad, I'll show you one of my best tricks with a sword. Or how to quickly
Sounds good.
send the bastard who's against you to the devil! But it can only be done with a sword. And what's more, you can't have a shield in your other hand.
Yeah, let's learn it.
That sounds good.
Cool.
Teach me that.
Of course. I knew immediately that would lure you in. The main thing is to attack from above. To quickly catch the opponent's wrist and push the edge of your own sword over his blade, so it's under his neck. If you do it right, I reckon I don't have to tell you what comes next, do I? And now, come and try it a few times.
So, what? This is a downward slash pivot catch? Why would you catch, though? Does it catch this way? I want to see this.
Fields are ravaged, our barns are empty, all our ale's gone.
And the women folk are pissed off.
Aye, and Sigismund's lounging about in the monastery, shagging the nuns while we suffer. It's happening.
No, I mean the bit about shagging the nuns. Sedlitz is monks only.
Wait. Do you think?
God, no, that's not what I meant at all.
That fucking sodomite!
Hey,
Yeah,
look,
no,
let's
that's...
just stop it.
What's
Hold
wrong
on,
with you?
this is something-
What's wrong with you people?
Is von Bergov's interrogation starting soon?
You came at the right time. We're just about to deal with him. And you can join in.
Alright, let's see.
Welcome to Sukdol, Lord von Bergov. Despite the circumstances that brought you here.
It is an honor, Peter. Compared to what I had to endure from Zizka and Kunstadt, your good manners are a welcome change.
I'll do my best to make your, involuntary stay no more inconvenient than it has to be.
Aren't you being a bit too welcoming, Sir Peter?
Just what I was thinking. Fuck that bollocks! He's a captive, not some busty wench. He's only alive to squeal what he knows. It'd be quicker if I just beat it out of him.
Hold your horses. He's a noble and Sigismund's right hand. If we torture him, he'll be no use to us as a hostage, and Sigismund will be out to avenge him.
That's true. Even though I'd be only too happy to settle scores with him. I gave him my word.
Why the fuck should I care about that?
When it comes down to it, the word of a nobleman is an oath before God. Even the devil must respect that.
Fuck this shit. The longer I listen to this bastards, the more my fists
He said
itch.
like 2 sentences.
Instead of these pathetic threats, why do you not make me an offer? You do know that I am...
Shut your trap, Otto. Right now you're nothing. You lost most of your men at Rabos, and the rest croaked when we took Malashov. So what do you have left? A nice coat and a smug face.
Do you really think Sigismund made me his chamberlain because of my soldiers? Or to have someone to take care of the running of conquered fortresses?
Shut up, damn it! We're asking the questions.
Really? Then why have I not heard a single one yet? And what a shame that is. I am a pragmatic man, and I'm sure we can work something out. But lay a hand on me, and you will not hear a single word.
He's right. Apart from von Aulitz, he's Sigismund's closest man. He knows everything about him and his plans. We should try it the peaceful way first.
Why would we not
You're
be
buying
practical
that.
about this?
He talks just like Jobst. When he gets here, they can yap till doomsday for all I care. But now we just don't have the time.
Jobst wants to come back here. After he got away from us by the skin of his teeth?
Well, he has to show Sigismund our army up close.
So it's true. I couldn't
Hey,
believe
Imson,
the
how you doing?
Margrave had finally made a move. I thought he would never march into battle.
See? Fortune is turning her back on you people. A pragmatic man like you ought to recognize an opportunity. If you help us, the Margrave will remember you for it. And will also let bygones be bygones.
You're getting ahead of yourself a bit, boy. The crown is still firmly on Sigismund's head. And
I'm not sure if
Jobst
it's the
won't find
audio
it
sync
easy
or the
to
lip
wrest
sync,
it of
but
him.
something is a little
Although,
off. Yeah.
I expect you people have no idea of the situation Sigismund is in right now.
Oh. What situation is he in, then?
In the shit, Lord Trotznov. In the shit. So, a sensible person should seize every opportunity that presents itself. And I am eminently sensible. Lord Capon,
Yes?
when you came to Trotsky, you were carrying a message with an offer of an alliance from Lords Hanush and Radzik, were you not?
Exactly.
I think it is time I gave you my answer.
Imson, she's doing pretty well. I will say the littlest two McCoys have been both a bit snuffly and sniffly, and I think I'm catching it a little bit too. Unfortunately, it's not too bad, but it's been giving them some annoyance, and so they've been passing that annoyance on to the rest of us. On the bright side, Saoirse is off at Disney with her parents with my parents, so her grandparents for most of this week. So she's off doing her thing. She's having a good time. We've been getting a little bit of a few updates here and there. Though they're having too much fun to call poor mom and dad, but whatever. It's fun. It's fine. She's having a good time, and hey. It's one less to worry about, so to speak. Oh my gosh. So yeah, he is Berghoff is a pretty treacherous kind of guy. He is extremely practical in a very negative sense. But honestly, it is the kind of thing that I would expect from a noble in these sort of political circumstances. A lot of this is not all that surprising, and quite frankly, I don't know if he's even really doing anything wrong per se here by essentially changing sides. Oh, excuse me. Changing sides when the winds start turning, really. It would really depend on what oaths he may have taken. If he had actually, sworn some kind of fealty to Sigismund, well, maybe that would be wrong. That also does bring an interesting question, though, right? So, suppose, and I don't know if this is actually the circumstances, suppose he had sworn an oath of fealty to King Wenceslas. And then when Sigismund took power, he turned sides and decided he would support Sigismund, while Wenceslas was deposed and imprisoned. And so he swore an oath again, to the contrary to his previous oath, to support Sigismund. And now, if he were to change back to Wenceslas' side, what's going on there? Is he obeying or is he violating his oaths? Because he has taken both of these contradictory oaths in different directions. Oh no, Eric, I did talk about chickenpox. It was basically it was mostly just that it was the disease that I talked about it Thursday, I guess, not last Tuesday. But it was the disease in Ray Bradbury's Martian Chronicles that wiped out the native Martians. Yeah, it was Thursday. Oh, you were. Oh, that's right. You were playing D&D on Thursday. That's why. But it was an interesting. It was a really interesting plot point, especially because like I'll get back to the politics of the game too. But this does come up. This does like stick in my mind because it was in like the fourth or fifth short story in the book. With the basically the first successful expedition of Earthlings to Mars. Um, and this was after the Martians were basically almost entirely wiped out. And there's a few people in the expedition who are being like overly triumphalistic, and there's a few other people in the expedition who are like really lamenting that and are very very somber about it. And then there's a bunch who are sort of in the middle and are kind of deciding what to think about all of this. And it winds up going in a pretty interesting direction that while some people are being like too triumphalistic about it, it pushes one guy to basically just leave, and he goes to go essentially be a Martian, among the hills and out away from the sort of human pseudo colony. And he basically tries to go native, and eventually, because he was alone, there were no Martians left for him to find. Eventually, he just sort of takes on himself the kind of the position of the last Martian, I think he calls himself, where he winds up killing some of the other expeditioners with the plan that it would convince the humans of Earth to stop sending expeditions, at least for a while, and that he would keep doing this over the rest of his life, and that it would preserve what there was to preserve of Mars. It was very, and while I do think that he was clearly what he was doing was a kind of, he was going through a psychotic break, right? And what he was doing was wrong. He was murdering people. It's fascinating to see the kinds of responses that people can have in situations like that. But I do think that is something like that's somewhat realistic of a response. It's fascinating. It's a really good story. It's a great book. I really do recommend it. Really do recommend it. So, Senpai, I've not seen the show Blue Bloods, the propaganda show set in New York City. The idea of it being set in the Marvel universe shows about a dynasty of cops. Great grandpa's retired police commissioner, regular grandpa's the current police commissioner, eldest son was a detective, middle child's a lawyer, other middle child died as a cop, youngest is new on patrol. The lawyer has a daughter who's a teen. I thought about how each character would react to Spider-Man. What if the commissioner had a relationship with Spider-Man like Commissioner Gordon and Batman? What would that then what would the detective uncle think? And finally, what would the granddaughter think? It was obvious she's the same age. She'd fall for Peter. The irony of him joining them for Sunday dinner and falling for her, basically shipping her and Peter Parker. I mean, it would be the same kind of dynamic as if you remember the Amazing Spider-Man 1, the first one, right? When Peter goes over Gwen's house for I forget if it was Thanksgiving or whatever it was, where with her father as the police commissioner, same thing, right? I mean that on steroids because the whole family is involved, but yes, no, that's very true. Anyway, what I was talking about with respect to von Berghoff is what if you wind up taking contradictory oaths like this? Now, again, this is always the problem with oath taking, and part of like I always keep saying this. I find myself back to this question so much. But the problem with oath taking is so often that it leads to these strong moral dilemmas where there is no right answer, that anything you do will be wrong in some way. So if you make an oath to do something sinful, well, it would be sinful to break your oath, but it would be sinful to follow through with it and do the wrong thing. In this case, in a case like this at least, and again, I don't know if this is exactly what's going on here, but if you made an oath to Wenceslas, and then you turn sides and make an oath, a contrary oath to Sigismund, well, should you turn your back on him again and take back up your initial oath, or should you stay the course with your turncoat oath and stay loyal to Sigismund? Like, there is no right answer here, because in either case, you're violating some solemn vow that you have made. You're violating a promise that you've made, right? So again, I think that this is once again just an instance of this should just teach us the folly of oath taking and the extreme danger of oath taking. There you go. Jameson says, in my weird universe, Captain Stacy's on the force. The youngest uncle was the cop who was first on the scene when Uncle Ben was shot. She sees how hurt Peter is and becomes his friend. Oh, okay. I even told Grace about a scene of a date where they go to a rooftop. You're just doing a full-on, like, slash fic here, aren't you? This is just whole thing. Gosh.
A wise decision, sir.
But suspicious. Why the sudden change of heart?
You think I'm some villain, don't you? But I've only ever wanted what is best, believe me. What is best for this country, for my loyal supporters, and, naturally, for myself. And I'm not ashamed of that. And it appears that Sigismund is no longer what is best. He's in trouble, both here and in Hungary. The army is not getting paid, morale is poor, and the Kuttenberg miners are rebelling. So the crown is running out of silver.
I see. The butcher's
Wait,
on his way,
what?
so you want to flee the pigsty, eh?
Naturally.
Hold on, odd things are
And
happening
together
in the
we
chat.
can even set fire to this pigsty, as you put it. If you want my advice.
I'm all ears, sir.
The last straw Sigismund is grasping is the royal treasury at the Italian court. If he were to lose his silver, he wouldn't be able to pay his soldiers and would have to withdraw to Hungary.
We're supposed to rob the Italian court.
The most secure place in the town?
Of course. And while you're there, you can also free the lords captured at Raborz.
My father.
Lord
Okay.
Pisek, as the former mintmaster, you must surely know of some way to sneak in.
There is no way. The court's an impregnable fortress.
Really? What about tunneling in? There are hundreds of tunnels beneath the city, and if I'm not mistaken, one of them runs beneath the court.
How did you
That's
know this?
total madness. There might be some passageway leading there, but no one knows those old tunnels now. Besides, they might
guess,
collapse
you
at
do?
any time. One could easily come to a bad end there.
But that can also happen when you try to mount a horse drunk. What's with this tunnel?
There's a whole labyrinth of tunnels under the city. You'd have to dig from inside the treasury to find the one you want. And where they all lead to, God alone knows.
God and me.
Oh, pardon me, milady, but how would you know?
Not all young noble women devote their days to embroidery, Sir Peter. I look after Father's documents, and I know all about the plans of the passageways beneath our palace. St. James's Church owes its existence in part to the generous donations of the Routards. So in the past we had a secret underground entrance built into its crypts, and St. James's is right next to the Italian court.
A handy escape route from the palace, eh? If you don't mind crawling through a tunnel, that is.
In short, you can theoretically walk directly from Routard Palace to the Italian court.
Sure. That is, after breaking through the walls that separate the crypt from the tunnel, and the tunnel from the cellars.
Okay, so I've just been informed by Erica that that slash fic specifically means gay relationship. Just a ship, a fanfic ship. I guess. Okay, I didn't know that distinction, in particular. I don't know if I needed to, but now I do. Nah, it's not too easy. This sounds quite complex, actually. We're tunneling. We're breaking through several layers of walls after tunneling halfway across the city. No, this is not too easy.
By Christ. It's worth a try.
That sounds almost too good to be true. And too easy. With a bit of luck,
Does it
we'll
really?
get to the cellars of the court. What then?
What do you think? The guards will come down on you and it'll all be over.
So we need someone who can help us on the inside. Someone who'll distract the guards and lead us to the silver.
Vavak or Pisek? Oh, Vavak. I don't know. I don't trust him. He's only sort of working with us because we blackmailed him. No, Pisek is probably a better choice.
Christian of Pisek is the steward at the Italian court. He could help us.
Perhaps. But my brother's never been easy to deal with. He'd be taking a big risk, and besides, he doesn't have the Mint Master's key to the treasury. I'm afraid Vavak's your only hope.
Right.
It's just that you can't trust him.
There is one other possibility.
Oh? What's that, Sir Otto?
Perhaps you have heard about the expected arrival here of a rare visitor from very far away.
Who? Do you mean... Surely not.
The very one.
What the fuck are you talking about? Speak clearly.
Well then, a papal legate is on his way to the town directly from Rome. He's coming to adjudicate the dispute about the new church.
What's that got to do with us?
Where would he be received except at the Italian court, along with his entourage? No one knows them, no one has ever seen them, and very few understand their language. They might as well be volunteering for you to take their place.
Well, bugger me. This is starting to sound fucking good.
What? What do you mean, take their place? Are we supposed to kill them, or what?
Why not?
Fuck.
Now,
Can't. Godwin, say something. You're a priest, after all.
You're right. Jesus. Get a grip, fellas. Do you want to burn in hell?
Calm down. We'll just lock the Pope's lackey up for a bit, and once we've got the silver, we'll let him go again. No one gets hurt.
this is such a bad idea.
Joseph, cover thy ears.
Where will we find that legate?
He's staying in Loretz, at the vineyard. He's got the use of the whole place for himself and his escort. But I don't know how many there are.
Good. We'll send Catherine there to have a look.
And then we'll burst in there and cause a bit of a fuss, so he doesn't get any stupid ideas. And that'll be that.
Is there no other way to solve it? Without violence?
Gentlemen, the legate is a man of the cloth, like me. I know Latin, and even a bit of Italian too, as it happens. I could explain to him what we need. Maybe we can persuade him to go along with it.
He'll tell us to kiss his arse, more likely.
Sir Hinek, never underestimate the power of sweet words. Especially when the listener has a knife at his throat.
It's true, none of us would be very convincing as an Italian cardinal. It'd be better if we made him take us with him, as his retinue.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that sounds slightly less unacceptable. Oh boy. Okay, this is getting kind of obscene. But okay. When he said I knew a bit of Italian, and Sim says I thought about Inglorious Bastards. Really? No, this whole mission reminds me of the theater bit from Inglorious Bastards. It really does. See. Wait, Grace, do you want me to just stop? I can stop for a bit. Oh gosh. Okay. This is so absurd. Okay, let's see.
But what do we do with the legate's real retinue?
Lock them up at the Devil's Den. One of our men can guard them there.
A couple more peculiar fellas blabbering nonsense won't look out of place there in the slightest.
Hey, Baze, how are you doing? Oh, gosh. All right, let's see.
All right, let's say we get inside with the legate. What then? What if he betrays us?
That's why we mustn't let him out of our sight. Godwin will take care of that.
Me?
You said you spoke Italian, didn't you? If he starts squealing, you'll hold a dagger to his ribs and ask him politely to play nice.
May God look the other way.
Meanwhile, the rest of us will have to deal with the guards inside, prepare the ground for digging, and open the treasury.
That's damned risky.
No one will be expecting us. As long as we don't make a ruckus too soon, it'll all be over. And the whole place will be ours before they even notice.
Well, happy belated birthday, Baze. The fullness of the fullness of years. Fullness of years.
What if the legate refuses to talk to us?
Well, we can always beat him up. Take his clothes and let someone else put them on. Like, Godwin, eh? Since he's a priest.
Hold on. I'm not going to play the jester for anyone.
Nobody's asking you to. We stick to the plan. We'll work on the legate so he agrees to take us in with him. Then we'll find a way somehow.
All right. I can't think of anything better anyway.
Agreed then. We'll try gentle persuasion to begin with. And now, to the task. Henry, you go to the town and squeeze anything that could help us out of Vavak.
Most importantly, get that key from him.
Then wait for us at Rotard Palace, where we'll set up our base. We'll get there first thing in the morning.
And how are you going to get inside? The palace will be closed and may be guarded. I don't expect you want to march through the main entrance, where everyone can see you, and break the gate down while you're at it.
That's true, milady. What do you suggest?
He clearly has an
There's
idea.
not only a passageway to the church, but also down to the river. I know it like the back of my hand. I could show Henry the way if you like.
No offense, my lady, but you'll be safer here.
Why Henry? Baze, are you sure that's unfortunate? Are you sure you would want to inherit a magic ring from an eccentric uncle?
Zhizka's right. You're safe here.
Do you want to get into the court? Then you need Roothard Palace. You want Roothard Palace? Then I'm coming along.
All right. Both of you are going to town. And no dawdling. You should be on the road tomorrow at the latest. Time is of the essence.
Well, that's that then. Let's get to work.
Okay. Oratores.
If we're to be in town by morning, we have to leave at night. It's a long journey.
We'll leave in the evening. We'll get closer to the town under the cover of night. We'll split into smaller groups and spread out around the town walls. We'll wait there until morning and then trickle in from all directions.
Each man alone.
In pairs at most.
And watch each other's backs. I'd love to hear the latest gossip. It travels fast in the town.
I'd rather we didn't attract too much attention.
Damn. And I was looking forward to getting a nice cold one at the Emperor Charles.
Forget about it.
All right then. I'll get one from Pizek's cellar before we go.
I don't know why Zizka's armor is clattering around so much. He's wearing jack chains. It's not like that makes too much noise. Outer Janosch. Okay. 15th. Okay. Okay, by Hans.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna take a short nap.
Your service.
Go ahead. Knocked off the stairs over there. Cool, cool. while I take a short nap, so I want to briefly talk about one of the big things that's been in the news lately, which was the ice shooting up in Minneapolis, which I think I briefly talked about on Thursday, but really only briefly, and only because only so much information had come out. First things first, I will say that wait, I can't sleep and save? Okay, fine, never mind then. But I'm tired. Okay. That's fine, I guess. Huh. I'm gonna apply a poison. Put this on my sword just in case. How do I sort all of this? Put it on there, and I'll put it on my other sword, too. Why not? Both are positioned. Excellent. Let's go. Anyway, so. Oh, basis have signed up for a course with Dr. Martin Shaw, one of the greatest living storytellers. He's recounting Sir Percival's hunt for the Holy Grail. I figured 33 was the right year for that. All this week. Cool. Very cool. And I think so. Yeah, 33 is probably about the right year for that. But who are you?
My respects.
You're the captain's wife. But why? Oh, Rose is in here. Okay. Well, she's allowed to take a nap. What about me? Why can't I take a nap? Anyway. Right, so first thing I want to say is that unlike a lot of people, and especially, you know, every pundit and everyone on Twitter, I don't think that I can reasonably give a statement or even hold a position on whether it was a justified shot or not, or anything like whether this was murder or whether it was justified shooting or what. I will say though, I will say though that I do, in general, in cases like this, maintain a presumption against agents of the state. I, in general, will presume that agents of the state are guilty rather than innocent. I basically take the whole innocent until proven guilty thing, the presumption of innocence, and instead flip it to presumption against the state. If a private person is accused of something, I assume that they are innocent until proven otherwise. If an agent of the state does something, I assume they shouldn't have done it until proven otherwise. I think that's a perfectly reasonable assumption given the power dynamics involved. Anyway, so I'm going to assume that he should not have done what he was doing, and that what he did was at least somewhat culpable. I treat it like a court-martial. Yeah, sort of, in a sense, yeah. Now, on that note, right, I will not say that. So I can't say for sure. I will not say with any kind of certainty that what was done was wrong. I think there's a good chance, but I'll hold off on it. What I really think is a couple of things. What I can say for certain is, one, that everyone involved, from what I can see, both the agent and his partners and the woman who was shot and her so-called wife, everyone involved basically panicked and acted very, very stupidly. And when everyone involved in a situation like that acts stupidly simultaneously, someone is going to get dramatically hurt or killed. Because of course. And that's terrible. She was in a two-ton car. The power dynamics are pretty balanced. No, absolutely not. No, they were not.
And with you.
There's no room for stupid when it's a matter of life and death. Well, that doesn't matter if there is room for stupid. Like, stupidity happened, which it does all the time, right? No, power dynamics were not pretty balanced. What I mean by that is that suppose she were really trying to drive away. Suppose she succeeded at doing so. She still would have been arrested and put in jail for a very long time for driving away. It was at that point when there was absolutely no winning for her. There was a no-win scenario whatsoever for her. Basically, the moment that interaction started. By contrast, the cop could have stepped to the side, like 18 inches to the right. Yeah. Imsim says, these guys are getting thousands of dollars as a bonus. It's a $50,000 sign-on bonus. So, you know, for ICE. For, you know, randos. Just somebody. While colleges are getting their funding cut. Colleges should also get their funding cut, to be fair, but that's a separate issue. So long as they cut their funding from the right places, yeah, almost every college I've ever known wildly overspends, at least recently, and by recently I mean throughout my career at least, on administration for the most part. Most of your average college budget goes to athletics, then administrators, then amenities. Then finally, eventually, it'll go to actually educational purposes. But I digress. The point is that, yeah, no, the power dynamic between a private citizen, an individual, a real person, and the state, or any agent of the state, is always going to be wildly imbalanced, and there's nothing you can do about that. Because they will, absolutely, with no exceptions, they will outgun you. They are willing and absolutely able to use overwhelming force against you every single time without exception. Yeah, no, there is absolutely a power dynamic at play. Like, suppose that, here we go, let's put it this way. Suppose that she had set out, suppose she had the most malicious intentions possible, and that she intended to kill as many ICE agents as possible with her car. Okay. Maybe she could get one, maybe she could get two. Then she'd be dead. But she would absolutely be dead. There's no question of that whatsoever. There is no getting away with that. Meanwhile, this guy, suppose to the contrary, that he did absolutely shoot her in cold blood with no provocation whatsoever, and she really was just trying to drive away. Like, suppose that her side of the story is 100% true. Do you think he's gonna serve any consequences for this? Like, honestly, the worst thing we can expect to happen to him is paid leave. So, no, like, that's what I mean when I say there is a dramatic power dynamic anytime the state is involved. Because that's how the state works. Every single time. Grace, I'll read your comment, but I refuse to say that word. Will not say that word. You cannot make me. Says, I'm somewhat in the middle of the issue because I don't think she should have been killed, but she was leaving a protest, which is free speech, right? And the immigration cop tried to arrest her, likely for protesting. Well, he's not a city cop. It's not his jurisdiction to arrest somebody protesting, unless they're known to be breaking immigration law. Yeah, no, it's absolutely not. I think that, and from what I saw of the situation, the confrontation did not have to happen. The ICE agents were in their vehicle, and when she was trying to get around their vehicle, they stopped, all got out of their vehicle, and started to confront her. Because, you know, she was being loud and being annoying and being an awful, an affluent white female leftist or liberal or whatever. And so they did initiate this confrontation, and yes, that word base. I'm not saying that. You can't make me. Anyway. But they did both initiate the situation and escalate the situation to increasing levels of violence at every step. And so I think that that is wildly irresponsible and probably culpable on the part of not just the guy who shot her, but everybody involved and those who were giving orders to how they should be carrying out these assignments, and for whoever made the final decision to send out ICE agents kitted out like paramilitary operators. Like how this whole thing is being carried out, if nothing else, like even the most ardent right-winger has to admit that the way this is being carried out is doing nothing but giving ammunition to the like Antifa types, to whom like a traffic stop is fascism. Right? This is giving the left an excuse to call everyone on the right fascists. That's what's going on right now. And it's not good. This is not, I mean, setting aside the horrible fact that someone is dead, that's bad enough. But this is doing nothing to...
My humble respects.
Cheers. This is doing nothing to alleviate the political tensions around the subject. Faze blames the hysteria in the media? Probably. But not just the media. I mean, a lot of this comes up in social media, in the kind of the bubbles we find ourselves in social media, where people on the left will just continuously encourage each other to think of more and more and more things as abjectly evil if the wrong people are doing it in the government, whereas the people on the right will encourage them, will just, stand around in a little circle jerk and continuously encourage each other to dehumanize this poor woman who was shot 3 times in the head. Right? And I think, by the way, I will say, I'm going to write this down so I don't forget to share this. Daryl Cooper of Martyr Made on his podcast with Scott Horton called Provoked, had a great take on this, really. That if you find yourself cheering for this woman's death, you need to take a hard look at yourself in the mirror.
My humble respects.
You need to very carefully examine your conscience, because you have gone so deep into ideology that you have tremendously damaged your soul. You've dehumanized not just the people you are dehumanizing, not just the political enemies, but you've dehumanized yourself. And that absolutely, we should not allow that to happen to ourselves. That, I think, is the biggest takeaway from this. Well, no. Not quite. No, it might be. That might be the biggest takeaway from this. Like, the people on the right celebrating this woman's death are roughly equivalent. Hey, Janos, how you doing?
Good evening to you too, Janos.
Have fun.
Thanks. But the people on the right celebrating this are almost equivalent to the people on the left who are celebrating Charlie Kirk's murder. And by celebrating, I don't just mean people who are saying, like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, because that's true. Right? That is true. She didn't deserve to die, clearly, but her actions predictably would have resulted in something bad happening. Right? Even if that was just her arrest. But still, people who are actually, like, celebrating this are spiritually damaged people. Deeply. And the other takeaway from this, I think the other big thing, the other thing that's in contention for the biggest thing to take away from this, is that we should always think of law enforcement officers, whether at the federal, state, or local level, as innately dangerous. We should always remember to treat any active duty law enforcement officer as if they were a wild, dangerous predator. Because they have absolutely every reason and incentive to kill you, and no moral qualms about doing so. That should always be your assumption.
May God give you health, sir.
When coming anywhere near any law enforcement. Again, predator avoidance behavior is absolutely justified when coming anywhere near law enforcement. Because, again, they have every incentive in the world to act like dangerous predators. Treat a cop like you would treat a wild bear. That's not fair. It's not fair to bears. Treat a cop like you would treat a wild lion. I think that is probably the another major takeaway from this. Ray says we actually had 2 separate incidents within the past week in Nova Scotia. One this morning, a dangerous man with a firearm, which, I mean, that's barely even Florida man territory. Another incident in Cape Breton on Friday, I think with a live grenade. Okay, that's a little more interesting. That's one you don't see every day. Although, actually, that's not true. Well, not every day, but I have seen such an incident where somebody, while I was in college, somebody made a donation of a bunch of old records, books, materials, and like artifacts, basically, to our library from World War II, like old military records and things. In this box of stuff was a live grenade that someone only discovered weeks later as they were going through and cataloging this. So there was a live grenade just sort of sitting around in our school library basement for several weeks until some graduate assistant researcher wound up going through it and realized what was going on, what they had here. A 80-year-old, or probably at that point like a 70 or 80-year-old live grenade. That was very funny. It was a very funny situation because no one got hurt, which is why it was funny. And that's why it was funny. Baze asks the question: cop or random man? It's do you choose the bear? It's not that version of that, but cop. Wait, here's the thing. I think that this comes from 2 things or 3 things. Let's call it 2 things. The second one's a little complicated, so maybe I can spin that into more reasons. But thing number 1 that contributes to these incentive structures that lead to police acting inappropriately. Let's just leave it at that. Just broadly speaking, the one major thing is training, right? Cops are taught to fear for their lives, basically all the time. For one, because that's part of their training, right? Is to be extremely paranoid and to assume danger at every possible opportunity, at every possible turn, right? Because everyone should be treated as a threat or a potential threat, right? Especially cops that get any kind of paramilitary training. Right. So there's that one. The other side, though, is that they are incentivized to fear for their lives. Because if a cop says they feared for their life, then they can basically get away with anything, right? This guy can just claim that he was afraid for his life. Let's suppose he wasn't. If he just verbally says the words, "I feared for my life," then what he did was legal from a practical standpoint. Now, to be fair, I've also heard somewhere that this guy had relatively recently, just been dragged by a car. Like he was basically dragged by a car through traffic. So understandable that he might have a genuine fear response here. But look, he should be nowhere near traffic stops. If his organization is the least bit organized, then the guy with PTSD shouldn't be anywhere related to, traffic incidents, shouldn't be anywhere near traffic. Like, the fact that he was in this situation in the first place is a tremendous failure on the part of the people organizing these operations. Baze is personally a big body cam advocate. I mean, sure, fine. Honestly, a good solution to this, it's only a partial solution, but it's a good solution, I think, is that any officer who discharges his weapon in the line of duty should be immediately forced into retirement. Whether it was a good shot or not, if you fire your weapon at a civilian for any reason, even if they are genuinely a threat, even if it is a real danger, even if it was a good shot, they should have effectively the equivalent of an honorable discharge. Because that is a big deal. That is an incredibly serious matter and should be taken that way. Because because as it stands, there's no way to discourage officers from being trigger happy. And they have every incentive to be trigger happy. So if you have that as a sort of strong disincentive, again, there would be no legal penalty for it if it's a good shot. That's fine. I'm not saying to throw the book at them or prosecute them or whatever. And fine, they can even have their pension or whatever. That's fine too. Now, again, it shouldn't be like a full pension because we don't want to encourage cops to go shooting someone so that they can, retire with full benefits at 30. But still. Right? Still. I do think that kind of thing would disincentivize bad behavior and strongly encourage much more thoughtful uses of force. All right, let's advance the plot, shall we? Let's talk to Rosa.
It looks like the two of us will be going to Kuttenberg alone.
I
Don't
can hardly
start.
Wait.
Aren't you looking forward to going home?
When they captured Pa, Von Bergov's people came to Rutard Palace.
Did they do anything to you?
No, I wasn't harmed. But before they took me away, they ransacked the place. Then Von Bergov just took me to Malashov. It's likely Vavak took our home for himself. He's always threatened to do that.
Well, you can try. When we free your father, Ruthard Palace will be yours again.
I hope so. But that's still far from certain.
How do we even get inside Ruthard Palace?
Like I said, through the underground.
Well, I suppose
Okay,
by now
reasonable.
I ought to know you don't have back doors here. Just secret passages, eh?
You are in mining country, There's more going on here below ground than above.
How will I find the entrance this time?
I mean, yeah,
From the
Henry grew up in
position of some cross
Scallis, which
again.
is also a mining
No,
town with the
I'll
same
guide
kind of
you
issue.
this time. It's just below the walls. You only need to know where to turn.
Are you ready to go?
I think I've actually
One
found
more
this.
thing. Do you remember how I asked you to bring me my book from Malashov?
Well, how about that? I almost forgot. Here it is.
I'd lost all hope. Thank you. You carried it for quite a while. In that time, I would have read it twice over. Did you at least peruse a few of the pages?
Yeah, huh? Baze asks, would it embolden criminals? Why? Why would it? It's an interesting question. Because asking that question seems to imply that officers' weapons are not there for the purpose of self-defense, but specifically for the purpose of stopping criminals, which they're not there for that. Like, legally speaking, that's not what they're for. At least in theory. In practice, yeah, sure, of course they are. But in theory, police are not supposed to ever discharge their firearms unless it is a situation of defense of self or another innocent. That's it. Those are the only chances, the only scenarios in which police are legally permitted to discharge their weapons. And so, a criminal might be less inclined, a criminal might be more inclined to attack a police officer, but he would still know that he could perfectly well get shot. Just like, attacking somebody else with a loaded firearm, right? Excuse me. But on the other hand, I don't think it would encourage, it shouldn't encourage criminals to act, to do crime. Just because police are less likely to shoot them for doing so. But police shouldn't be likely to shoot people for doing crime. Police are not executioners. They're not supposed to be. I mean, they are, but they're not supposed to be. So, maybe I guess it would embolden criminals, but it would also actually encourage the real intent of law enforcement and the intent of the law. So fine. Trade-off I can accept. What would really discourage criminals? If people were allowed to defend their own property. Legally. That would do it.
Oh, sure. I read a little.
And what did you think?
Well, the author doesn't spare anyone. I wonder if he holds anything at all sacred.
Sure he does. Courage, honor, loyalty. But others have already written enough about those. A writer is interested in what lies beneath the gilded veneer of orderliness and piety, because it's much more interesting.
Hold on. Who wrote this, then?
I did.
Oh. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
You said you could teach me something. What did you have in mind?
If you ask nicely, I'll share some of my hard-earned wisdom with you.
Very well then, Lady Know-It-All. Let's say then I come on bended knee. What scholarship can you pass on to me?
That depends on what you're interested in. There's a whole world hidden inside of books I could talk to you about for days on end. Or if you prefer actions instead of words, I can show you a few shooting tricks. But I can't right now. Come back another time, all right?
Okay, fine then.
Shall we go?
There's no point in dallying.
All right,
Let's
go.
Later, near Kittenberg.
Well, here we are. I'm not keen on going into that darkness.
Are you afraid?
Of the dark? Me? I'm not a little girl. But God knows what we'll find inside. Especially at the far end.
Well, we'll just have to find out. You said you'd lead the way.
Stick close to me. Let's go.
Okay, yeah, no, I have been in here. I have gone through this little entrance. I just don't think I made it all the way through, or there was
Usually there's only a
story
small
locked
trickle
door.
running through here. The water must have risen.
How far away is it, anyway?
Soon there'll be a fork, and from there it's only a short distance. You'll see.
And where does the passageway end?
In the cellar, conveniently enough. It's always best to arrive inconspicuously.
No, I've definitely gone this way before. forget what I was looking for, but I know I did. What conversation did you come back to? You mean my conversation or Henry's conversation?
Startled me. Anyway,
Goose bats.
what's Lord Capon's problem with underground passageways? When I mentioned it at Sukdol, he looked like he was about to faint.
Well, when we were defending the Barkov, we got buried under the rubble from a demolished tower.
Oh my god!
He was lucky to survive it. I still remember him calling for help. He was scared to death. There was nothing we could do. That's when he was captured by von Berghoff. Since then, he's not comfortable with tight spaces.
Sorry. I was a silly goose to bring it up.
Silly goose. Okay. Anyway, I was talking about how we should interact with police, and essentially that any law enforcement officer we should basically treat as if they were a dangerous predator, because they have every incentive to act like one.
Well, we have to get to the other side somehow.
Well, you don't know what this game is about aside from Henry being the main character. I mean, it is Henry who is
Come on. Stop pretending.
the bastard son of a nobleman, who is working on behalf of him and some of his other nobles during the war for succession of the king of, I believe, of the Holy Roman Emperor? No. Anyway, of the king of Bohemia. So Wenceslas II, I think, when he was deposed by his cousin, I think, Sigismund, of Hungary, Henry and his sort of faction are supporters of King Wenceslas. And they're basically moving through various areas, trying to politically maneuver so as to turn the tide of the conflict. That's basically the overarching plot of what's going on. And meanwhile, Henry and his immediate lord, Hans Capon, the young guy, are getting into all manner of shenanigans, because Capon is not a terribly serious person, at least not yet.
You can't hear me.
Everything all right?
No. Don't you see how deep it is ahead of us?
Well, so what? It's hardly more than knee deep.
That may be so, but a courteous man should offer to help a lady.
I hope you don't expect me to carry you.
I most certainly do. Unless you want to prove to me that you really are an uncouth village oaf after all.
Well, what's to be done? I'll carry you over.
Maybe there is something knightly about you, after all. I'm waiting. This is not how one carries a lady, you barbarian.
Maybe not in Kuttenberg, but it's how we did it in Skalitz.
But it's not very comfortable.
Just grin and bear it, my lady. We're almost there.
Oof. I don't think you'd be welcome at a royal court. But I am dry, so I thank you.
Okay. Well, see, this is clearly one of the main potential romantic partners for Henry.
Oh, Sakura. I hear voices. Looks like we've got company. And not welcome company, I reckon.
I will say, though, I don't... Oh! Woo! Excuse me. Don't like her all that much. She's rather grating. Where'd she go? Nothing there. You're just waltzing on through, huh? Okay.
Look at all this mess. I can hardly recognize this place.
This doesn't look like the work of Avak's people. More like city rabble and beggars.
They're acting like they own the place. If Pa were to see this, we must get rid of them.
So you want me to get rid of them? But what will you do? I'm responsible for keeping you safe.
Don't you worry. You don't have to hold my hand in my own home. Do you see this ivy here? It goes all the way up to the window of my chamber. That's where I keep my crossbow. I bet that riffraff didn't find it. If I climb up there, I can cover you from above. Just in case.
Fine.
If you say so. But if anything happens, hide. Got it?
All right. Now turn around so you can't see up my skirt.
All right then. Here we go. I hope Rosa can aim well.
Let's see here. Nothing. Never mind. Just a cleared out little armory? Archery range? I don't know, whatever. It's cleared out.
Boy, where do you think you're going?
You're not supposed to be here, scum. But, since I'm in a good mood, I'll let you live if you get out right now.
Did you hear that? He'll let us live! Let's see what you're made of, hero.
You'll be sorry you stuck your nose in here.
You're mine.
Really? You guys are making a big mistake here.
Rosa? Could you...
Show you stuff!
What the blood? I knew it was spoiled. I feel awful. You want to try me? Go fuck yourself.
Why are you guys doing this? You guys do not have to do this. You can run. You're allowed to still run. You can run. It's not too late to run.
Waiting for you.
Not too late to run. Now it's too late.
Hey, Henry!
Are you alright?
I am. For now.
Aw, here goes Henry
All
killing
right,
again.
Henry. I think I hit one too.
You're a good shot.
Not
Capon
really,
and
but okay.
Kabianka wouldn't believe their eyes.
Thanks.
God, that is a tiny little crossbow.
Someone's trying to break through the door.
Oh, damn it. I'll be there in a moment.
Be careful.
Load your crossbow, and if they get inside before I get there, shoot them.
I barricaded the door. I'm sure I can hold out for a while.
That is a tiny little crossbow. I'm not going to bother looting the bodies of the frickin' beggars. Seems like a waste, really.
Oh, what a mess. Ah!
You want to try me?
What's that sound?
He's got a brigandine. Wow, okay. I mean, I guess you didn't expect a respectable high-class lady to have a large, clunky crossbow, but I might expect her to have, like, a nicely made one. That thing looks almost homemade. Like, I have to almost wonder if she made it.
Rosa? It's me.
Henry, are you all right?
I'm in one piece.
What?
Rosa?
Are they gone? All of them?
Aye. It's over.
They're extremely gone.
I'll let you in. You can come in now.
That is true. She may have gotten bored and made it. That is possible. That does seem characteristic of her.
So, here we are. Welcome home.
Where's my
It doesn't
helmet?
feel much like home anymore. They were behaving like animals in here.
Don't worry about the mess. Our boys will happily clean up once they get here. We owe you that.
The mess is the last thing on my mind. There was my mother's silver, my brother's hunting trophies, and my books. It's all gone.
Right. We've got a lot of work to do. But we'll get there. You'll see. We have to. There's a lot at stake.
That's true. You know, Henry, I want to ask you something. And I want an honest answer, all right? If everything were to go wrong at the Italian court and, God forbid, you had to choose, would you still try to rescue my father, even if it meant putting stealing the silver in jeopardy?
The lives of allies are obviously the most valuable asset to us. Without their support, the silver would be useless anyway.
Not to mention, it wouldn't last you very long anyway.
Don't worry. We'll either leave the Italian court with the lords, or...
Or not at all.
I
if our
feel like
plan
this is going to
succeeds
lead
and
to a
your father
choice.
is freed, do you know what will come next?
I try not to think about it.
Why? That's why you're helping us, isn't it?
If you get the king's silver, my father and I will have to hide. Leave the region, go somewhere out of Sigismund's men's reach, and you and I will have to part ways.
What in the world? Why is this so railroaded? Grace says, are you just politely saying she's a rather unrelentingly insufferable cunt? I wouldn't be that harsh. She's just grating. I mean, look, no, she's not that grating. I mean, she is grating, but she's only as grating as a rich teenager ordinarily would be. That's all. You know?
Maybe it won't be necessary. As soon as Jobst and his troops arrive, you'll be safe again.
Maybe. But your duties are elsewhere. Capon's estate is in Retaille. Besides, he'll be getting married, and you'll surely be accompanying him. Why should my father and I stay here anyway? What do we have left? Oh well, there's no use in crying over spilled milk. Ziska's herd will be here tomorrow. I'd like to get some sleep before then. Would you please leave me alone?
All right. I'll keep watch downstairs.
What about Vabak? You were supposed to go and see him today.
I was, but that was before we knew what to expect here. I can't leave you alone now, so it'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Thank you. And you get some sleep too, so you're rested up for it.
My helmet got taken off. Jeez. Yeah, no, this is a mess. Yes, Joey, that is the that was my guess. Yeah, so it was a potential romance scene, so they removed the helmet for the Teresa cheaters. Yeah. Yeah. Imagine Henry, of all people, being unloyal. Can you imagine such a thing? Well, everything is just, like, completely looted. Which honestly is not that surprising. Given all of these guys. Alright, where is somewhere I can sleep? Oh, here we go. But I can't. It's not gonna let me. Imsim says, Professor McCoy has a large clunky crossbow he uses when the little ones misbehave. One bolt pins their shirt to the wall, then you hear Mrs. McCoy shout, "Stop putting holes in my walls." Hold on. Hold on. Coming back. Well, I don't have a big clunky crossbow. I do actually have this, which is a replica Venetian crossbow. I think roughly contemporary with this game, 15th century or so. But it is quite nice. It is a replica, so I don't believe it is not functional. But the mechanics and whatnot do function. It is cranked and whatnot. Anyway, we got this from a little consignment store, little antique section of a thrift store when we moved into the house. So anyway, do have such things. It is, to my knowledge, not a functional, like I said, not a functional replica, but it is. It is still a nice little wall hanger. Anyway. There we go. Back to it. Imsim says, I'd hate to be a home intruder in the McCoy home. That's what this is for. Slightly more realistically, I do have, less unwieldy weapons to use in such a necessity. I probably would not choose, all other things equal, to use a longsword in the enclosed spaces of the corridors of a house. But whatever. Does it? Where am I supposed to go to sleep? I'm down in the kitchens. I guess these are the kitchens, right?
It's probably a good thing that Kunzlin isn't seeing this.
Just like the Magna Carta authors intended. I do not have a cannon loaded with grape shot to repel intruders. Unfortunately, my home defense means are not quite as the founders intended. Not quite, sadly. What is this? Vitalis. What are these pouchy things? Is it bandages? Are they playing for bandages?
Clean shot. You didn't suffer much.
Well, alright then. She did shoot one.
They left no stone unturned.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the place is pretty well and truly looted. Is there not somewhere I can wash? Is there a wash basin around here? Yeah, here we go. This is what I need. This is cool, though. Like, the vaulted ceilings and whatnot down here are very cool. And by the way, this is why you don't have interior lighting with fire basins. You see this? That is quite realistically what you would expect from having interior lighting and heating from something like this. You just wouldn't do that. Like, practically speaking, you just would not light or heat your home with that. It's a little privy. We left a rushlight lamp lit. Someone was in here, apparently. Huh. You're right. This palace is the city wall. Interesting. At least the vaulted ceiling is not raw. It's well toasted, I suppose. Oh, this is my axe. Okay, this is or not my axe. Well, it is my axe, but this is apparently my bed. I have my own nice little bedroom in Retard Palace. That's nice. In the filthy part. Okay. I'll close my doors though. Till morning, huh? Wow, alright. Oh,
Christ. Oh, is it morning already? Ziska and the others will most likely be here by now. I should go and have a look.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, here we are.
I see you're already here. How was the journey? Did you run into any trouble?
No, it actually went quite well. Brabant wouldn't shut up, though.
Naturally.
Credit where credit's due. He really helped in Malishov. That hit to the gate came at just the right time. We'd have dropped like flies if not for his men. But sometimes I feel like letting something blow up next to my head too, just so as not to have to listen to him for a while.
God, I can only imagine the man like talking at elevated volume because he can't hear.
When we got here, it was like a pigsty.
Some local beggars set up a lair in here. We have to get rid of them somehow.
What about Rosa? Doesn't she regret coming too?
Why would she? She asked for it herself.
Mainly because you were going. She doesn't seem to like the rest of the group very much.
Well, it's not like you're doing much to change her mind.
Understandable, really.
And the way things look around here certainly didn't improve her mood.
We may be bastards, but we're not ungrateful. Anyway, I told the men to get rid of the bodies and clean up the place a little. Hope the lady won't mind.
Quite the contrary, I think.
How did it go with Vavak, anyway?
Well, after everything that happened, I didn't want to leave Rosa here by herself. I'll have to go and see him now.
I understand. But go and see him as soon as possible. We won't get anywhere without his Mint Master's key.
Alright, let's go. Hey, Kubienka. Wait, where is he? Oh, over here, okay. Alright, so we are at the point of the game, I think, where we are just going plot, 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 plot. No real time for side quests and activities. Pig. I'm in a private area? What? Excuse me. What do you mean? Okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be here, I guess. That is his house, though. That's where I'm supposed to go, right? Maybe I'll go in from the other side. I don't know. Let's try going in the front door, shall we?
While the most merciful King Sigismund and his troops are here in this region, we aren't in any danger.
No, no, of course not.
What's that?
Those aren't Vavak's men.
Stop
I smell
gaping
trouble.
and clear off.
Get out of here, mutt.
Stop gaping.
Call that beast to heel!
Heel.
Okay, so I do have to go around the back, don't I? Or maybe I can go through the adjacent buildings?
Leave it!
Probably not.
Shoot!
Jeez, you guys are just mean to poor Mutt. Why are you guys so mean to Mutt? What did he ever do to you? Yeah, so I do have to go around the back, don't I? Okay, well, fine. Okay. Would I ever rename the streams as Florida Man Plays Kingdom Come Deliverance II? Probably not.
Very odd.
If I were to play a game, if I were to have a stream titled in that way, I would have to really play up. I'd have to play like a Florida Man to a much greater degree. And this isn't really a game where I can be that much of a menace. Now, I have played games on this channel where I can be and have been an absolute utter menace.
What the? Henry? How the hell did you get in here?
I have my ways.
All right then. Keep your secrets.
Could I just say back door? But okay.
What are you doing here?
I'm dealing with some trouble.
So I see. What trouble, though?
In case you hadn't noticed, the lord of the house isn't here. He took to the hills.
What?
Okay, then.
When?
Only a few days ago. He took the coin from his little secret operation, packed up quietly in the night, and went God knows where.
What are you actually looking for here?
Bavark's papers, especially ones with my name on them. I can't have people from the court finding evidence of my connection to the secret enterprise.
Has no one been looking for him?
No. He'd occasionally be gone from the Italian court for weeks on end. What's a few days compared to that?
Did Vavark take the Mint Master's key with him?
Well, if he had any sense left, he'd leave it here.
Why is that?
No one will be looking for the coin from the secret enterprise. But if it turned out Vavark had disappeared with the treasury key, the whole court would be after him. Unfortunately,
Okay.
Vavark isn't that stupid.
What's to be done? Damn it. I wanted to talk to Vavark about it, but me and you are going to have to sort it out. The question is, whether I can trust you.
Excuse me? I took a big risk to help you last time, and you don't trust me all of a sudden?
Only this time the risk is even bigger.
Risk, you say? Nothing ventured, nothing gained, as they say. And I like gains. Talk to me then. It can't hurt to try. The worst that might happen is I won't help you.
Okay, I will trust him, but Imsim asks, do you think Pope Leo XIV has a shot at being known as Pope Leo the Great? No, there's already a Pope Leo the Great. And he was pretty great, frankly. So I don't know if there's much that the current Pope Leo could do to overshadow Pope Leo I, Leo the Great, that is, Leo the Great's accomplishments. Like, if he were to heal the Great Schism, then maybe, but I honestly think then just a different title would work better anyway. Yeah, but again, especially just because Pope Leo the Great is, I mean, it's already taken. So, no, I don't think so.
All right. But your life depends on nobody finding out about this.
Ah, don't worry. My life was at stake last time, and we're both still here. So you can trust me.
I hope so. Me and a few others want to rob the treasury in the Italian court.
What? My word! I was bracing myself for anything, but this? Have you lost your mind?
Calm down, for God's sake. I know how it sounds, but we've got a good reason and a good plan. Believe me, we just need a little help getting inside. That's what I need Vivak for. But he's not here now.
I hardly think the dirt we have on him would be enough to make Vivak do something as crazy as that. Well, it's true. I owe you. For keeping your lips sealed. But this is a bloody dangerous business. What do I get out of it if I help you?
Think about it. Vavak's gone, and if we succeed, Sigismund won't have any coin to pay his army. He'll go back to Hungary without appointing a new mint master. That will be your chance.
I can't deny it. You know how to sweet-talk a fellow. All right? Let's say I'll help you. But there's one thing we have to be clear about. If it all goes wrong and the slightest shadow of suspicion falls on me, I'll spill the beans about the secret mint. And I'll blame it all on you. You know a lot, and you'll happily confess in the torture chamber.
Well, all right then.
I'm glad we understand each other. So, what
mutual
exactly is
blackmail.
your plan?
We'll get into the church council meeting as the legate's retinue.
The legates? What do you mean?
We'll make it nice and clear to the Cardinal that he'd be wise to cooperate with us. And while he's gabbing on in the meeting, we'll get to work in the guise of retinue.
For Christ's sake! Do you really think nobody will recognize you? Do any of you even speak Italian?
In any case, it'd be wise to have someone at the meeting
I'm
who
going to
can
avoid
make
answering
sure the
that
legate
question.
doesn't do anything stupid. We'll be keeping an eye on him, of course, but it'd be better to have a local on hand as well. And that would be your job.
Well, how can I put it? If you manage to get to Cardinal Pozzo and persuade him to help you, take you with him to the Italian court, not give anything away, and lastly, make it through the entire council without shitting himself, I'll walk barefoot to Rome myself.
Yeah, very droll. So will you help us or not?
I can turn a blind eye to someone sneaking around the courtyard, or reassure anyone at the council who notices something is off. But don't expect anything more. And what will your lot do in the meantime?
I mean, that's good, I guess.
That's all you need to know. We just need you at the council.
Very well then.
Now I just need to find Vavak's key.
Yeah, even
Have you seen it?
even if I do trust him, he
the
doesn't
only thing
need
I
to know
found
more
Vivak
because he
left is
would
this
be-
ladder. Here.
He might
Take
give
it.
something away
Maybe
unintentionally.
it'll help you. And Henry, don't forget, I'll help you. But I can't afford to be under any suspicion. Do you understand?
Count on me. And thank you.
Good teamwork.
Save the thanks, and let me get to work.
Right. What about the key? I need the key. Don't I need the key? This. Yeah, no, I do need to get the key. Where could it be, though? I can read the letter I just got.
Richard, Paul now.
To the hands of Sir Christian Pishak, the Mint Master of the Royal Mint at the Italian Court. If you're reading these lines, know that I'm long out of town. I know you sycophant, have had your eye on my position for a long time. It's yours, you lying rat. I wish it to you with all my heart, and I'm almost sorry I won't see your face when you find out where I left the key. The only thing left is to wish you to enjoy your new title with honor. It won't last long anyway. Let the Italian court sink into the ground, the city council choke on the monastery wine, and the secret enterprise be revealed, and you and your brother hang from the same beam. Fuck you, fuck the key, fuck everything.
What a mess. Who'd think the Mint Master would be so disorganized?
That's not helpful at all. Typical though. Well, I mean, he did leave Christian the title of Midmaster, so there's at least that. No, that's not right. Where is the key? That's the front door, which I really should not open. That would lead to all sorts of trouble. It's a nice little nook. Loot above the door. Very nice. Okay, let's go up here, maybe. This is a big house. Servants' quarters. And what appears to be the master bedroom. Apples. Couple groschen. Couple more groschen and a cobweb. Armorer's kit. Strange. Speaking of. I don't know if I need to keep carrying around cobbler's kits, because I'm not wearing shoes anymore. Lockbox? No? This place, this thing. No?
5 dozen eggs. That's not it.
Where could he have left the key? Might be a lead. Nice bed. By the way, these small enclosed curtained beds are a fascinating little bit of, I guess, call it technology. The point of which is essentially to keep in warmth, right? Which is quite cool. I like it. I don't understand it because I live in Florida and I would never want to keep warmth in my bed. But whatever. Point being, that is actually a really, really cool little thing. Now, it also reminds me, though, of the common practice. I think this really developed more later, of keeping your bed or your bed chamber or the area in your bed and around your bed or whatever warm by either a hot water bottle, which is the kind of sane way of doing it, reasonably sane way of doing it, or what was actually quite common but utterly deranged, at least to my mind, putting a little thingy, like a little iron container full of hot coals under your blanket with you, which was actually rather common practice. I think a little bit later than this it was more common, but particularly among the wealthy and like nobility and such, this became quite a common practice, which again, that seems utterly deranged to me, like incredibly dangerous. Yeah, no, I bet it would be nice in Nova Scotia. That's true. I won't deny that, not one bit. I do almost wish that enclosed beds like that would come back into favor. I kind of like the idea. I don't know, there's something very cozy about it, you know? If nothing else. Even like warmth aside, it's very cozy. Where is the key? The key is in an ingenious hiding place. I'll have to roll up my sleeves and hold... Fucking kidding me. Fucking kidding me.
Rutard, Polna, Crondel, Naz.
I know where to. Great. Oh, what the fuck?
Ugh. Well, that really is disgusting. Fuck you, Vavak, wherever you are.
I don't like this guy. I'm gonna be honest, I don't like this guy.
Sure you're feeling well.
Not feeling well, eh? You got drugged, didn't you?
Alright, let's go back to Zizka. Zizka. Who is actually back this way.
I just couldn't get up.
By the weather. Do you mean that old ball and chain?
Okay. Where is he? Hey, Bravant.
I'd like to learn something.
It will take some time, and a few groschen, mon ami. Acquiring my art came at great cost, so I cannot pass it on for free. Especially now, when I have been injustly stripped of my possessions, and I must rely only on my sharp wits. Ainsi, Valdesta, what would you like to hear?
Baron Brabant, tell me a little about the world beyond the borders of our little country.
Mon ami, the world is so big and there is so much to tell, but you want to hear only a little? What to choose from that inexhaustible fount of wisdom? Ah, je sais. Opportunity is like a ladder. You must seize it with both hands, climb to the top, and knock it down behind you. Remember that, jeune Henri? And now let me give you another piece of wisdom. Allons-y, mon ami. Let us not waste any time.
Okay. That's a bit dark, really.
Good morning, Henry.
Good health to you, Lady Rosa.
What does she have to teach?
Could you teach me something?
Of course, but I warn you in advance that it will not come. So,
Okay. Let's go with marksmanship.
I'd like you to show me some archery. You shoot like a...
I prefer the.
Will you teach me?
Soundian.
Listen closely.
Okay. Useful. All right. Let me actually check my skills. I do have a skill point. Where's my archery? Marksmanship is not maxed. Not even close. But I do have a couple of skill points, don't I? I'll shoot first. First shot will deal 15% more damage, total of 30% with first perk. Ooh. Okay, not bad, not bad. Steady aim 2. I could, but I have basically switched to using a bow rather than a crossbow, which I don't know. Maybe I regret. I might almost want to switch back to my crossbow. That's quite nice. And let's go house shot first. I'm not going to use an arm or pole arms very much. But I have 2 points for swords, and that's not useful. Oop, hold on. I have a main level point. What should I do here? Nightcrawler. At night, you have a +2 bonus on strength, agility, and vitality, and +3 on stealth. That's not bad. I can pick one or the other of these. I'm gonna just go with Nightcrawler. I don't want to pick between Pacifist and Warmonger. Alright, let's see. Strength. Grand Slam? Meh. Charge attacks. No, I don't use those. I don't shield block. I guess Grand Slam. Blunt damage. Again, I don't use blunt weapons, but won't hurt, I guess. Let's see. Agility. I can just get both of these. Dominant Hand, which I barely ever use. Viper 2, piercing damage. Oh, good. Very good. Yes. Speech. Hustler and then partner in crime. That might be really nice. Adept of the Mystic Art, nah. Selling weapons, armor, clothing, near perfect. 1% more money. Now let's just go Hustler and then partner in crime. So if I do wind up stealing stuff, I can just sell it. Easy peasy. Alright, secondary. Arrived attributes, alchemy. Dark Arts Apprentice. Purple Haze. That's interesting. Now let's go Dark Arts Apprentice. This is quite nice. Do I have any more? I have one more. We can go Purple Haze. Why not? Ooh, drinking. Negative effects of drunkenness will be milder. That's good. That's useful. Heavy duty. No. Lucky Day. Oh, St. Vivian's Grace. I'm gonna go with Cheers. In case I need healing. And use alcohol. Alright, Horsemanship. Hey. I have lots of points here. Let's just go Warhorse. Do I have 2 or do I have 3? 2. I have 2 more. Okay. I can just go both of these. There we go. Maxed up. Scholarship. I only have 1 more level. And I have 2. So Contemplative. That's nice. What is a beast now? That's good. You ever wish the game had third person? Sometimes. Though in terms of gameplay, I generally prefer third person for games like this in terms of just like exploration and whatnot. But for combat, I really do like the first person perspective for combat in this game. Wait. The potential romance scene took my gloves off, too. What in the world? I'm not wearing gloves. Come on, man. That's just not right. And I have 2 points here. Feels like hyper-realistic Skyrim. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of. Dirtier you are, harder. No. Fleeting Shadow. 1 for a crime. Yeah. Other. Yeah, let's go for that. That's quite good. And then I guess Deceptive Stance, so if I ever find myself fighting with in my light armor. Thievery, let's see. I can just get all 3 of these. None of them have negatives, so let's just take them. Alright. Combat. Swords. I guess I'll just get these. Even though I don't use hunting swords or sabers, but I'll just get them. I might as well. They have no negatives, so let's just do it. Cost less stamina, that's nice. Why not? Where they fall. No, I'm never going to use that. No pain, no gain. Nah. Nah. You can combo a Master Strike. You can Master Strike in unarmed combat? Well, didn't realize. Sting like a bee might be good. I don't use combos. Kurt's Kampf. Let's go Sting like a bee. That's it. Right? Yeah, that's everything. Cool. I am gonna do the scholarship thing.
Could you teach?
Why not? But I won't so.
I'd like to expand my horizon. What's the last thing you...
You'd better believe it. I only read interesting things.
Okay, lady. Gotcha. All right. Interesting. Imsim says Tom Home and the Borders Are. A title which I despise. I hate this tendency, which really started in the Obama administration, to call administrators czars. Despise it, really. is getting a special blessing by Bishop Strickland, DC. The irony is the poster has Our Lady of Guadalupe. Yeah, that's weird. That's really weird. Nicholas II is
Same to you.
Nicholas II is rolling in his grave. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no, it's all right, Cisco.
I was at the Mint Master's place.
Hold on. Everybody should be hearing this.
All right.
Well, how did it go?
Gather up.
Do you have the key?
Aye, I've got it. But it stinks a bit.
Quelle puanteur! Put it away unless you want to see my breakfast.
And what about the Mint Master? Will he help us out?
Vavat got out of the town. But in his house, I met Christian Pisek, the steward of the Italian court. He promised to help us if we get in a tight spot.
Can we trust him?
I think so. He owes me. But he's afraid they'd know if he was involved.
Did he tell you anything interesting?
No, I'm not going to blackpill everybody. No, let's not do that. After all, I have heard that the Dan Bongino is out to get blackpillers now. That, by the way, is really funny. I don't know if anybody has been following Dan Bongino, the now former second in command, whatever it was called, of the FBI, who has been absolutely crashing out lately. He has been just going nuts, mostly at Dave Smith, because Dave Smith, among lots and lots of other people, have just been constantly harassing him about covering up the Epstein files, which he absolutely deserves constant harassment for that sort of thing. He never shall know peace for the rest of his life, and then some, for covering for pedophiles as he did. So cheers to enjoying him suffer, because a comedian is making fun of him. Anyway, Imsim says the USCCB has talked in the past about limiting communion to abortion-supporting politicians. Could they do the same for pro-strong immigration enforcement politicians? Yes, although it would have to be extreme, right? So, abortion is a very clear and very direct teaching that it is essentially the allowance for, or the promotion of, the slaughter of innocents. The immigration question is one which is far more open to interpretation and open to alternative solutions. I could see a potential reason for withholding communion if someone were, for essentially excommunicating someone, if they were rule for cruelty's sake in the enforcement of immigration restrictions and whatnot. But just wanting a closed border and just wanting deportations is not in any way grounds for excommunication. No, I don't think so. Imsimpas, who covered for pedophiles? Dan Bongino, and Kash Patel, and Pam Bondi, and a bunch of other people in the Justice Department. Some of them, like Gnome, seem to rejoice in the chaos of it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that. There is certainly a streak of cruelty in some of them, but but I don't know if that is quite grounds for excommunication. It might be mortal sin, but that is the kind of thing that it would be realistically just between the communicant and their confessor. It would not rise to the level of public scandal in the same way that that support for abortion would. You think you'll live to see them taken away in cuffs? Who? The people who are covering up the Epstein files in government, the Dan Bongino, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, etc. I will say, as a Floridian, I have despised Pam Bondi for a very long time. since she was AG of since she became AG of Florida and started enforcing, like, going crazy she was primarily responsible for implementation of red flag laws in the state of Florida. That is the actually Gnome. I don't know about Gnome as much. She's not local to me in the same way that Bondi is. But Bondi was, like I said, crucial in the implementation and upholding of red flag laws. That is, that people can call for a sort of wellness check, so to speak, on someone and essentially have their firearms taken away from them. But for all practical purposes, this means nighttime SWAT raids on the mentally unwell or people whose neighbors don't like them, for having legal firearms. This is a common thing that's happening in several states, and she was a big proponent of it in the state of Florida. She's also a huge drug hawk, and was connected somewhat to Epstein being let off easy back when he was indicted in Florida. She wasn't AG yet, but she was involved. So yeah, I have been by this point I've despised Pam Bondi for like 10 years. Chrissy Nome is spreading fear on TV every chance she gets. The raids are a little too far. They're arresting Native Americans, holding them for days until they realize who they are. Yeah, that's not okay. They're even arresting uniformed active duty military. Jesus. Instructing their men and women to carry their passports. Yeah, that's bases are instructing men and women to carry their passports. That's ridiculous. But honestly, I oppose government ID laws in general. I think that having to carry a driver's license is an affront to a dramatic affront to our liberty. Having to identify myself to an agent of the state is gross. That's again, that is that's a dramatic infringement upon. That's a dramatic intrusion into our privacy. But we don't think of that. We don't think about that, especially after we've started using social security numbers as personal identification, which, by the way, is a felony under the law. Using your social security number for personal identification purposes is illegal. That is a felony under the law. You can't do that under the act that authorized Social Security. That dates back to 1940 something. That's illegal. But we do it anyway. Hooray. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I save a lot more of my resentment for. I mean, from what I know of Christy Nome, I don't like her either, really, obviously, but I don't know enough about her, and I don't see her doing that as much. The people a lot of the people I really despise in government are the ones who are directly responsible for these sorts of things, not just propagandists. And then also people who are very obviously evil psychopaths. People like Representative Randy Fine. He's a great example of a very bad person with tremendous power. He's the one who is just outright celebrating the murder of innocents in Gaza, and in no uncertain terms. Like it's not even like he's saying, well, they're not innocent. He's just saying, no, they're innocent, and I celebrate their deaths. Like, straight up, the guy is an evil psychopath. Sim says, regardless of the immigration issue, the government is pushing how far they can push their boot and get away with it. They'll come for citizens as well as speak out. Oh, of course. It's how this works.
Nothing at all.
Let's get to the point. We must have everything ready before Catherine returns from Loretz, especially the way through to the court.
I should say so. If I'm going to send my men, I have to know exactly where the way through is to be made.
That'll be your job, Henry. And Brabant's going with you.
Excuse-moi? Why should I?
Because you've been telling us you know the Kuttenberg underground like the back of your hand.
And I do, but not firsthand. Only from my maps and drawings. Nobody will let men of my standing enter those moldy shafts.
Well.
Where are the others, anyway? Kubienka, Ada, and Janos.
They heard there was work to be done, so they left à l'anglaise.
But you do the work of 3, eh? At least with your mouth.
They're getting some wagons so we can move the silver. If Pisak wasn't lying, there's quite a hole there.
What exactly are we supposed to do in that cellar?
Get as far as you can, and mark the spot where Brabant's men will start digging.
I see. Why do I feel like that sounds a bit too easy?
Well, we have no idea what's really down there, so you better have a weapon handy.
Come now, surely you do not mean...
Rutard's daughter will tell you more. She came up with this part of the plan.
If Brabant doesn't want to go into the tunnels, I'll go with someone else.
With Ruthar's daughter, eh? One night wasn't enough for you.
I meant with somebody like Sam. He knows his way around the town underground too.
Oui. That is a good idea.
Why not? Maybe the cold down there will cool his hot head.
What will you lot do in the meantime?
We'll be doing the planning. We've got to bring those captured Italians to the Devil's Den somehow. They'll just sit tight till we give them back their legate, and then we'll let them all go.
The main thing is keeping Godwin away from the booze. Or we'll have no way of talking to the gents from Rome.
And break. Alright, I'm gonna put my gloves back on, because I keep getting... Anyway, Imsip, good question. So Imsip asks, on another note, I heard that confessing your sins and dying immediately after doesn't guarantee you a straight trip to heaven. I heard even dying in a state of grace can send you to purgatory. That is true. And I can explain why briefly. How can a man get directly into heaven or eliminate their time in purgatory overall? There's a couple of ways I can think of. The quote easiest, I guess you could say, is martyrdom. If you're martyred for the faith, you go immediately to heaven. The reason for this is that your martyrdom for the sake of Christ is propitiation for... Not propitiation, that's not actually correct. Sorry. It is... that constitutes essentially purgation for your the temporal consequences due to your sin. Right? So, because you may still have temporal consequences due to your sin, when you die, that may still need to be corrected. You may still have a connection to that sin. I wonder what happens if I just start shooting. Actually, hold on. Let me switch arrows. There's a guard looking for me now. I'm just gonna stay here. Anyway, that was funny. But martyrdom is one way. The other way is an act of perfect contrition, plus being in a state of grace and having one's sins forgiven sacramentally, and also a perfect act of penance. Okay. You would need to have eliminated the temporal consequences of your sin, of whatever sin that might be, mortal or venial. And so it is, I would expect, quite common for saints, even in a state of grace, to pass through purgatory. Going directly to heaven, as best I understand it, is exceptionally rare. And realistically, it's pretty much just martyrs. and rare exceptions to the contrary. Anyway, that's all I have time for tonight. It's getting close to midnight. I'm getting tired. I'm a little under the weather, having caught whatever kind of sniffles that the little kids have. But it should be okay. Not too bad. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys on Thursday as we continue and hopefully finish the next big dungeon for Expedition 33. And then we'll be back next week to do this absurd Italian job quest. Or Kingdom Come Deliverance II. If you haven't heard it or seen it, I also have the latest episode of my stupid little podcast that came out this weekend on me responding to Tucker Carlson's monologue on the events in Venezuela and the state of the American Empire. So check that out if you haven't. Well, watch it again if you have. I'll put a link to it in the description because I forgot to already. So that's all I got time for tonight. Have a wonderful rest of the evening. Have a good couple of days until next time. And remember, until then, don't be safe, be well, more importantly, be good. Good night, folks.